Hello everyone and welcome to SOS Wrestling and to episode number 20 of our local global series. I was going to try and fit Night of Champions into this episode, but whenever I looked at it, it would have to be like an hour-long episode for that to work, or, at least like 45 minutes, and I don't think I have the time for that, at least right now, so we're just going to have to deal with it being in a couple episodes, which I'm sure is not too big of an issue, but hopefully you guys like the, background music that I've added, just trying to make my videos just a little bit better, and, I thought that might help. Obviously, if you guys are not a fan of it, I'll just go right back to just my wonderful voice. So I think with that, we can just jump right into the show, UPW Fight Night. We're kind of slim on money. Obviously, last month did not do very good for us, but I'm trying to cut costs a little bit on these cards, so hopefully we'll be able to get through this month without losing too much, or maybe even making some money. So with that, we'll jump right into the show. Alright, so the show starts off with Bauer and Gertner announcing the first match of the night. Bauer says, "It's fight night, ladies and gentlemen, and Joel, we have a very special match to start us off this week." Gertner says, "Yes, we do, Aaron, and our former champion, Hiromu Takahashi, has hand-picked these two men to face off for the right to go head-to-head with him in his last UPW match." And Bauer responds with, "Yes, he's really put a match of the ages together here tonight, and here he is now to join us on commentary." Takahashi nods to the camera as he settles in to watch the match. This got a 38, not the best rating we've ever gotten on an angle, but it's definitely not too bad. So with that, we'll advance to the match, first match of the night. And a decent match. David Starr defeated Donovan Dijak in 12:03 by submission. 31 rating. Dijak got a 32, David got a 38. And Starr got improving a performance, Dijak in technical. I thought this match was going to be better, to be honest, maybe a 35, but considering that this was just a little plot device to kind of build up to Starr versus Hiromu, obviously making the match official at Night of Champions, and we'll see who will come out on top in a couple weeks, I guess. And then a 55 rating, Hiromu rolls into the ring and extends his hand to David Starr, who accepts. The two stare at each other down intently as they shake hands. So a good rating here, and yeah, just kind of building up to their match. Obviously there is respect between the two. They have teamed in the past to take on Team HOH, Team House of Hardcore, I'm pretty sure. And obviously they respect each other greatly, so this isn't going to be a blood feud, but they both want to win very badly. Hiromu wants to go off on a high note, and David Starr wants to regain some momentum. Vanessa Craven comes down to the ring holding a microphone and says, "Steve, I've shown time and time again that I'm the most dominant woman in this company, and I think it's about time I got a shot to prove it." Craven's promo is cut short by Jason Lee's music as the Iron Man champion enters the ring. Lee says, "Sorry to steal your thunder, Vanessa, but I need to talk to Steve about the Kincaid problem, and I don't see how adding this to his plate is going to help me out any." Lee and Vanessa start arguing in the ring, but are interrupted by Steve Corino himself, who says, "Look, whether you like it or not, you are both going to be in title matches at Night of Champions. And I was going to make you wait to get your hands on your opponents, but I think this might be a good time, as ever, to schedule our first ever mixed gender tag team match. So be ready, because next week, you two will be going head-to-head with Hojo and Kincaid." And this got a 46, so not the best rating, but Vanessa Craven is learning to show more charisma, and yes, our first ever mixed gender tag team match will be Craven and Lee versus Hojo and Kincaid. Now obviously, Craven and Lee are not the best of friends, as was illustrated by this segment itself, but we also don't know how well Hojo and Kincaid will go together, so it'll be an interesting match, definitely. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next segment. In a bout that had a decent reaction from the crowd but subpar wrestling, the Colony defeated LAX in 8:45 when Silver Ant defeated Angel Ortiz by pinfall with a surprise cradle. This got a 30, Angel Ortiz got a 28, Santana 32, Fire Ant 30, and Silver Ant 32. Unfortunately, Ortiz was really off his game, so that's not good. But this is an okay filler match, just to kind of get the Colony a win, so they're not just jobbers, because they are, or I want them to be at least a legitimate threat to the tag team titles. I want, honestly, all the tag teams to be a legitimate threat, so we're not having any jobbers. And then next up is my attempt at a comedy angle. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. A video plays showing Dalton Castle walking into the boys' hospital room. Castle places some flowers on the table and starts talking to the doctor. Castle says, "Give it to me straight, Doc. Are we gonna have to put them down?" The doctor says, "Quite frankly, I'm not sure what you mean." And Castle says, "You know, the pill. Lights out. Pull the plug." Doctor says, "You do realize their injuries aren't life-threatening, right?" And Castle responds point blank, "I don't see how that's relevant to the conversation." The doctor slowly backs out of the room as Castle is left to talk to his boys. Castle says, "Don't worry, boys. I'm gonna get that title back for you. Hanson is gonna pay for this." So, obviously, my delivery might have been a little dry. Hopefully that didn't discourage you from enjoying this segment. And it was kind of just to update you on the boys' condition and to keep Dalton Castle off TV for a week so I didn't have to put him in another match with Hanson. Because I'm trying to make this make sense, at least, a little bit. And I thought this was a good way to do it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, or didn't even, make sure to let me know in the comments. And in a bout that had decent reaction from the crowd but subpar wrestling, Alex Colon defeated Flex Freeman in 750 by pinfall. Colon and Freeman apparently have great chemistry, which is good for the 35. Alex Colon got a 37, Freeman got a 32. Any improvements? No, unfortunately. But Alex did pretty good, which is good because I'm kind of trying to push him a little bit, getting back into storylines, because I do think he's a capable competitor. And I'm kind of disappointed that Freeman didn't improve any, because he's kind of been stagnant, but as long as he gets up to, I would say, a 35 by the end of January, or maybe even December, I think he'll be set. So, moving on. After beating Freeman, Alex Colon angrily grabs a mic from the ringside and starts going off. Colon says, "Even when I'm on a winning streak, this company tries to keep me down. I don't know when you people are going to realize that Alex Colon is best for business, but I do know that I'm not going to be left off another event again. So Steve Corino, you really need to get your head on straight, because when I start this war, I'm expecting you to be on the right side of it, and if not, there will be hell to pay." So, Alex Colon kind of making a threat to Steve Corino almost, and we'll see how Steve responds to this next week. And I don't know what he meant by a war, but I guess we'll see in the future. Hopefully improved. Unfortunately, no, but can't expect too much. And then in a decent match, Trent defeated Cody Hall in 1240 by pinfall with a roll-up. Cody Hall only got a 34, but that's not too bad, and Trent got a 46, which is really, really good. So, good for Trent. This was just kind of a match that hadn't happened yet, and I, need to keep doing matches like this so I don't just do the give away the match for free. I think I might do that for the fight night right before, like the go-home show, but I honestly don't know. It's hard to build up rivalries whenever they've already had a match, so we'll figure it out. Moving on. Chaos and Roppongi Vice brawl around the building until a swarm of security manages to break them up. 54 rating. Good last angle, I'm pretty sure it is. And we'll move on to the main event. Hanson versus Max Smashmaster, where Hanson defeats him in 531 by pinfall. Hanson was really off his game, still managed to get a 43 rather, and Max got a 29. No worker improvements, 33 rating, so not a great way to end off the show, but I still think we'll do pretty well with our rating, hopefully. A 40, not great, but definitely could have been worse. And that's just about going to do it for this first fight night. And we'll see how Steve Corino responds to Alex Colon. We'll see what happens next week with David Starr and Hiromu Takahashi. What happens with Chaos. There's a lot of questions to be answered. And we'll go ahead and answer them right now. Alright, so we start off the second episode of Fight Night with Steve Corino standing in the ring with a microphone. and he says, "I hate to start off this historic night with something like this, but I think you all know about the Alex Colon problem. So let me address you directly, Alex. You do not call the shots here in UPW, I do. But you haven't been able to catch my eye over the last couple weeks. So I tell you what, you're gonna get a match at Night of Champions, but it's gonna be against me." So, Steve Corino making his return to the UPW ring. First match in, I think his last match was actually at the last Night of Champions, so it'll be, maybe he'll be the Undertaker of UPW, just having a match every year at Night of Champions. That'd be interesting. But yeah, we'll see if Alex Colon will come out on top or the Big Boss Man. Well, not the Big Boss Man, but Steve Corino, who is the boss, will come out on top. He's got a 36 rating, so not great, but, you know, pretty good way to start off the show, I guess. And we have another match set for Night of Champions, so that's always good. And in the first match, a decent match, I think this was a little better than decent, Hiromu Takahashi, Colby Corino, Colby Corino defeat David Starr and Dalton Castle in 14:37 when Takahashi defeated Starr by pinfall with a bridging fisherman suplex. Hiromu was head and shoulders above everybody else. Corino was the weak link, getting a 28, but Dalton got a 50, Starr got a 40, and Takahashi got a 63. I'm really gonna miss having Takahashi, to be honest, but sometimes you just gotta move on, I guess. And I feel like now some of our guys are good enough to continue carrying these matches like Hiromu has in the past. And in the next match, a decent match, Britt Baker defeated Barbie Hayden in 6:52 by submission. Barbie was really off her game, but she still got a 34. Baker got a 45. So a pretty good match. Barbie Hayden is improving in technical skills. So Hayden has finally gotten decent in the ring, so that's good. And then another pretty good match, or actually real good match, Roppongi Vice defeated Dijak and Morton in 11:44 when Rocky Romero defeated Matt Morgan by pinfall at the Strong Zero. Morgan got a 39, Dijak got a 38, Trent got a 52, and Rocky Romero with the 61. So this is a really good match by these two tag teams, and just goes to show how well our tag team division is going right now. It might be a little bit top heavy, but still, we can put on matches like this. And then in a pretty good match, Hansen defeats Bill Carr in 7:32 by pinfall. Bill Carr got a 37, Hansen got a 51 for a 46 rating. So not the best match of the night, obviously, but definitely not shabby. And a pretty good match for just one that I put together randomly, because Hansen needed a match. And then moving on to the main event of the evening, a pretty good match. Kairi Hojo and Jason Kincaid defeat Jason Lee and Vanessa Craven in 15:57 when Kincaid defeated Lee by pinfall. Hojo carried the match in terms of in-ring performance, as she normally does, and apparently, contrary to what I thought originally, Jason Lee and Vanessa Craven showed excellent chemistry teaming together, so that's something to note. Craven got a 34, Lee got a 41, Kincaid got a 45, and Hojo got a 63, and almost everyone improved. So I consider this match and this whole show a success. This was a really good show. And then after match, Kincaid and Hojo celebrate, got a 38. I'm expecting like a 49. That's one of our best shows ever, actually, which, makes sense considering how good these matches were. No matches under 40 for this show. I think that's a perfect way to end off the episode. If you did like the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Hopefully you guys are excited about Fight Night, or rather Night of Champions, because I certainly am, and we have quite a few matches already booked for it, so we'll see if any are added, if any are expanded upon maybe. And again, if you liked the video, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.